not as big as the one down in Cowboy Stadium.
Not quite.
Yeah,
no.
But a nice place, good facility, good stadium, and they get great crowds for the year.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like how big? They fill this thing up?
When they're in the big time games and when they're winning, they fill it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What? So you have talked to Vandy? Like, how often do you talk to him?
I've talked to him about probably 2 or 3 times over the past couple months. Just when I got the job, and he's been great. Yeah, he sent me out the tapes, text back and forth a bunch of times. But he's out in Air Force now. But yeah, he was excited for me.
And any shrewd advice about what to do and what not to do, or no?
Not much advice. Just a lot of teach stuff. He's a fundamental coach, and he teaches a certain way, and that way works. I mean, he's had so many great linebackers, so I was just basically picking his brain for anything I could, and took down some notes.
What do you do here? What's this place?
This is the coach's offices, multi-sport.
Not exactly the Lash complex.
No, not as big, but yeah, this is where we have our meetings, staff meetings. We get players in here and have some individual period meetings, but this is it. This is where we spend a lot of time, coaching staff.
This looks like a lot of motels I stayed at in the past.
Yeah, definitely not the norm, but it gets the job done.
This is a coach's meeting room, right?
Coach's meeting room, yeah. We'll get the players in here time to time, but
not enough room for many players.
No, not a whole team. We'll do different groups in here and get up on the board and go over stuff, and they got the bring in an overhead, and you can get the projector up so you can watch tape, go up on the board and put up some stuff, but this is usually reserved for just specific position groups.
Okay, so this is a team classroom for team meetings, and you can fit about, what is that, 7 by 7 in here, 50 guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can fit a good amount. We'll meet in here as a defense, go over some stuff, and some basic install before we break up into groups, but this is one of the bigger meeting rooms where we can get fit a lot of guys in and cover a lot of material.
Again, not the Lash building, but it does what you need.
It does what you need to do, exactly.
And if you can teach, it really doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right. A camp here. We were walking down here.
Yeah.
And whether some guys like camp, some guys don't.
Yeah.
It's been an easy summer, but it won't be. At some point when camp kicks in, it'll get miserable. It just
does. You can tell because as it approaches, the linemen start their complaining early. So you hear them groaning all the way up into camp. They struggle the most, but camp isn't. It's not terrible. You get into a good groove. It's a great experience. I mean, it's hard when you're doing it, but once it's over, you feel good. You're closer to your teammates.
Did you like camp?
I liked it when I played. I mean,
so what kind of percentage were you as far as a guy who liked it? 30, 40%, and the rest of them hated it, or what?
25 probably liked it.
So you were one of the freaks.
Yeah, I enjoyed. The time was tough. It's long days and everything, and it's physical, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't the worst part of the year for me.
Why you?
I don't know. I like the grind of camp, and I had been working. You know what I mean? You work hard during the season for it, or the off season rather. You look forward to getting out there and finally showing it, and that's.
Did that go back to Strathaven when your dad probably taught you that, right?
Yeah, I mean I liked it the most at Strathaven, so that was the most fun. I look forward to camp all summer, trying on my pads. You know what I mean? Trying to get my look right.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. So high school, I loved camp. I mean, and then as it gets harder, it gets a little harder to like, but I still, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it.
There's something about when the cicadas start making noise.
So I was just talking to my wife about
and the
that.
smell of the grass.
Yeah,
that's
you
when
get the sound of camp, the smell, the feel, and it's camp. And then you get sick of that, and you get the chill in the air in October. I mean, that's the football feel. But
you get sick of that, and also sick of all your teammates and all your coaches and playing each other.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
When you think of blocking sleds,
it's usually a grind. This is definitely the grind part of camp, hitting these, because there's not much movement on them. It's not like hitting a guy. You're not making a play or anything. You're just going through pure technique stuff. So a couple weeks into camp, this stuff gets hard for the players. It gets a little tough.
What kind of coach are you going to be when you see somebody not quite doing what you want them to do on these especially?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not too much of a yeller or anything. I like to teach. I like to correct, and I think players they respect me and what I've done and my knowledge. So they want to get better. This is a great group here, especially. I mean, when I was coaching them in the spring, I mean, they wanted to pick my brain for every single thing I knew. So
I would have thought maybe you'd be a screamer. Not a screamer, huh?
Not much of a screamer. No, not my style.
All right. About the first few times that you went through a lot of injuries, ACL, hip, a couple other things. When you finally got an inkling that maybe you'd want to coach and maybe it was time to start learning, what were those moments?
Yeah, I mean, probably, my 4th or 5th year in the NFL, I started to get a feel for that. That'd be the next step for me. So
Why?
It's what I knew. I mean, I knew so much football. I dedicated so much time to it. I didn't really feel qualified to do anything else. I mean, I felt qualified to basically be a coach, and I loved doing it, so I wanted to stay around it. So.
And yet you wanted to survive in the NFL as long as you possibly could, because it's what you love.
Yeah, you want to keep playing, and that's obviously the goal. But, I hit a point where, my body's hurting. Teams aren't, knocking down my door to sign me. So I figured it's a good time to make the transition, instead of waiting around trying to get signed, during camp or mid-season. I just wanted to make the transition and get into that next phase.